Okay, great. So I can use trim entities to trim off any parts that I want inside the sketch. Now, when you enter offset entities, for offset entities, when you have let me show you something. For offset entities, right now I have this ellipse. Let's say I wanted to draw an inner ellipse. Normally, I could literally come back here, draw an inner ellipse, do like this, do like this. But if I want this ellipse to be concentric with this particular one, that means that like the same is using the same major axis and the same minor axis, just like a smaller version of this particular one. Instead of coming to draw again and stuff like that, and like needing to be plotting the major and minor axis again, I can just use offset entities and just click on it, click on the offset I want. I can either make this smaller or bigger by clicking on this reverse arrow. And let's say I set it to like 5 mm. Then automatically the system is now going to create a smaller ellipse for me that is a width of 5 mm away from the original ellipse. So any length that I pull this ellipse to, the inner one to also follow and share this width that I've set for it. So use the offset entities when you want to create like an inner shape. You want to create a square inside a square or a circle inside a circle that is concentric with your outer circle. If the circle is not concentric, that means the circle is not sharing the same center, you do not use the offset. And then you also use the offset when you know that if you are making changes like this, you want that inner circle to follow your changes. If your inner circle is meant to be constant, like if I want to shift this and I don't want this ellipse here to be changing, then it's best to not use the offset. So please, are you guys following and understanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay, please, in case you don't understand anything, can always unmute to mic and ask questions, please. Yeah, I'm coming, just edit this, please. So now let me draw a square here. Now this one is for mirror entities. Mirror entities works like a mirror. It works like a rectangular mirror, where the first thing you pick is your mirror about is what you're using as your mirror. And your entities to mirror is what you want the mirror to invert. You know the way, like, let's say, for example, now everybody here should have been in a barber shop or at least looked into a mirror in the morning. You know, for a what's the name, a straight mirror, the distance you are away from the mirror is the distance you are going to be inside the mirror. So that's the same logic that this thing is using here. It is basically inverting the object to like equal distance away from this line. So this point here now, it will look at it as if this point is 50 millimeters away from this line, then to invert it 50 millimeters away to this point here. So now this point becomes this point becomes this point. Then this line gets inverted, even though it still looks straight. It has not been inverted. This point here is now this one. This point here is now this one. Like that, like that, like that. But everything is now equal distance in this particular place. So, for example, there are sometimes that you will be creating half profiles or even quarter profiles. There's this particular model. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it was a Model Mania model. Model Mania. I think that was Model Mania 2025. Okay, great. So I'm just going to present something else. Now, this was a particular model miner question, but this question now is model miner is just basically a competition where you need to model something as fast as possible. This particular question now, if you try to model the entire thing, you would not model it as fast as you need to. But if you start with designing first modeling a quarter of this and mirroring it around, then that's the fastest way around it. Because if you notice, this stuff is symmetrical. So I know that the final way to solve it is just by first designing a quarter end and then using your mirror function to finish it up. Like that's it for mirror entities. So please, does everybody understand when to use mirror entities now? Okay, great, that's nice. Um Now for linear sketch pattern, is when you want to, is when like let's say you design something. Let me design like a square wave, for example now. Let's say I design a square wave. Where's my corner rectangle? Let's say I design like a square wave and I want it to be repeating. Let's say I want it to repeat like 5 times. I'll just come here, click on linear sketch pattern instead of drawing this circle and like setting distance. Just click on linear sketch pattern. Entities to pattern. I select this line. I select all the lines I want to pattern. Okay, let's say I want to pattern this bottom line here. And number of times I want to pattern. Let me say I want to pattern like 5 times. The x-axis, I can increase the distance. The what's name for this stuff is the center distance. So a distance they are setting is the distance between the center of one rectangle and center of another rectangle. So as you're increasing it, it is becoming further and further away. And I know what's name, you can choose not to use distance. You can choose to use an endpoint. You can choose to say like, okay, I'm going to just stop at this particular end and I want you to distribute equally like 5 times till I reach that end. Let me see if I can get it. X. Hmm. I think it's Fusion that does that, not SolidWorks. I think it's Fusion that does. I think in SolidWorks, you have to actually set distance. I think it's Fusion that you can decide the endpoint and just distribute equally along that area. But also, if you want to like, let's say if I want to create a chessboard now, and I just designed one square. Instead of like, you know, um doing all the top squares and then patterning everything that way. I can just decide to um I can just decide to pattern this in 2 directions. Where's my this now? Okay, great. So I'm just going to set this one to 50. And then you can see that it's like pattern is making a pattern of everything. So this one has now been patterned both in the X direction and the Y direction. And even the ones in the Y direction to also being patterned in the X direction. So that's all about it when you want to use the linear sketch pattern tool. Okay, great. So now for circular sketch pattern, you come across, I think for one exam I came across something like this. Okay, great. Something like this. How does this work again? Sorry. Yes, I'm going to use an app for this. Yeah, I'm going to the 3 point app. Okay, let's start here. Start here. Then I'm coming. I'm just going to make this arc and this arc tangent. Z. Okay, but let's say like I have something like this on an arc like this on my circle, and I want to repeat it around this circle instead of drawing twice. That's why I use the circular sketch pattern. So all you have to do is you first select the entity you want to pattern, and then you select the what's the name? What's this again? You select the circumference or the circle that you want to, the axis you want it to pattern around. So you just select the circumference and then to automatically select the center and pattern it around that center. So for this one now, all I have to, and you can choose to either use equal spacing. If, for example, now I want everything here to only stop at 180 degrees, half of the circle, I can reduce this to 180. You can reduce this to 180. I can reduce this to 180 if I want everything to just stop at half of the circle. If I want if I want like only 3 patterns, all equal spacing. If I want, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, but that's just basically how the circular pattern works. Just have a circle, you pattern it around that circle. For these move entities, I've forgotten how to use them. I know I learned how to use them, but because I hardly use them in sketches, I forgot how to use them. But let me go through all the relations. So there are a lot of relations, and there's also a case of like knowing when best to use when best to use each one. For example, now there's a concentric relation. That's for concentric relation, I draw a circle, and let's say I draw another circle here. But after I now decide that I want these circles to be on the same center, there are 2 ways to go around this. If I want this circle to be here, the first of which is I can click on this point here, hold down my control, click on this point. Automatically, these relations will show. I can choose to make it horizontal if like I want it to be on the same x-axis. I can choose to make it vertical if I want it to be on the same y-axis. And let me delete this horizontal one. Right now, sorry, I can just drag this. Then I'm calling when I made it share the same x-axis and y-axis, automatically put it. Okay, great. Okay. So I'm just going to delete this horizontal relation so I can move it up. So I can choose to make it vertical. That means they are going to share the same y-axis. So like this now, it means I cannot move this one side by side. I can only move it like this. I can choose to make them coincident. Coincident means they are going to be in the same place. Once I make this coincident, it means they are going to be in the same place. Automatically, this one is fixed at the center. I cannot drag it away from the center again. I can only extend it along that center. And now for the final one, let me say, okay, great. For the final one, let's say, like I said, I have this circle here, and let's say I don't have this origin. It's because now you have an origin, I can easily use it to pin to the center. Let's say I don't have the origin. Let's say this circle is just something I randomly created in my sketch, and I want them to share the same center. All I have to do is click on one circle, hold down Control, click on the other, and set it to be concentric. And that's all. And if I want these circles to be equal, to have the same circumference, let's say this one is somewhere here. So I want both of them to share the same diameter. So yeah, if they have the same circumference, they have the same diameter. But let me use diameter. All I have to do is set it equal to each other. And the more I increase the length of one, the more the second one also increases too. So sometimes instead of like repeating dimensions among circles, they tell you 2 times 15 milliliter. Instead of setting 15 milliliters for each circle, all you have to do is set 15 milliliters for one circle and be setting the relation that this circle is equal to the length, to the diameter of this circle. And let me go to this one. I'm going. Let me try it in the center rectangle. I'm going to draw a line here in the center. I'm going to draw this line. And let's say, okay, let's say this one is like, let's say this one is like 500 millimeters away from this one. Now, if let's say I want this line to also be 500 millimeters away from this one, that's like I want the what's mean this line to be symmetric with this line with respect to the center line. Basically, I want this line to be 500 millimeters away from this one. Instead of setting another dimension that okay, this one is 500 millimeters away. And the reason why in design, as much as possible, you want to try not to set a dimension is because you are going to be editing and changing things a lot. So if you have hard coded, you know, like, yeah, please, any of you do programming? Is there any programmer here or vibe coder? Okay, great. You know, in programming now, let's say okay, great. Oh, Sinclair, please, you have a question. Sinclair, please, can unmute your mic and ask a question.
No, I made a mistake. I don't have any question.
Okay. So, you know, when you're coding or vibe coding, but I actually hope at least know the fundamentals of coding. If you are using hard coded values, like let's say you create an app that is meant to report the weather, and your app is always showing 25 degrees Celsius because you have hard coded the 25 degrees Celsius into the programming text instead of leaving it as a variable that is going to change depending on the information that is receiving from another server or something. So that's the same way. Instead of like always coding and dimensioning everything, as much as possible, you want to leave things as variables that are depending on another thing. Because there are some people that by the time they are finished at coding, like let's say a website, they are finished, like they don't build things the proper way. The minute that they change one thing like this, wham, everything will stop working. Do not say if your code is not, say if it works, don't touch it. As long as the code is working, don't touch it. It's a lie. It's because they do not build it the proper way. That's the reason why they cannot touch it again. So let me jump back to the lesson. So for this, I don't want to use a dimension. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line. I'm going to click on this line, the second line, and I'm going to click on the center line. Why is this happening? Let me try clicking on the center line, this one. So why is this still happening? So normally there's a symmetric let me see something. Sorry. Normally, there's a symmetric relation. I don't know why it's not showing. Maybe because this line is not the same length. It's why? What happened to my symmetric relation? Why is this? Why is this thing doing this to me? I promise you, this symmetric relation normally shows. I don't know why it's slimy today. I still wants to say. I still wants to prove me wrong or something. Uh, the symmetric relation is slimy today. But if your symmetric relation is slime you like it's slimy right now, all you have to do is you can actually dimension, but instead of encoding a dimension, you're first going to wait. Please, can you see as can you see my dimension bar right now? Please, I'm coming. I don't think my dimension bar is showing. No, I'm coming. I don't think it is showing. This is what I'm talking about. You guys have not seen this before, right? This particular thing here, where I'm typing in my dimensions. I don't think it was showing before. So what's just going to happen is instead of me writing 500 again, I'm going to type in equals to, and I'm going to set it to be equals to this dimension here. So automatically this one now is also 500. But the difference is that the minute I change this one to let's say 600, this one too also changes. So it is still symmetrical in a way. Just that I was not exactly able to use the symmetrical relation, but it is still symmetrical. So which other relations do I see have? There is this one, there is this one. Yes, there's collinear. There's collinear. So coincidence is for when you have a point and a line. The don't Please don't try to cram these things. It's from like you didn't you are trying to like learn them by practicing. Don't try to cram. If you try to cram, you just package too much information. So you use coincidence when like say you have a point and a line, and you want this line to you want this point and this line to be on the same axis, then you use coincidence. And automatically, as you can see, this line now is line on the same axis with this point. But there's now another one called collinear. And collinear is used when you have two lines. See collinear here. Collinear is used when you have two lines. I want this line and this line to be on the same plane. Or for example, now, another time when you can use collinear is I have a line here. I drew another line here. I want this line and this line to be straight, to be like continuous. Like I want this line to be like this, but I don't want to add code. I don't want to start setting dimension again. Just click the two lines and set them to be collinear. That means they are lying on the same axis. And like this, like let me do this one. That means they're lying on the same axis. And like this, now you can see that they are always lying on the same axis, no matter how you shift them. So in this particular case now, let's say you had like a square here. Instead of setting the dimension of this one again, you just set it to be collinear with the line you have already set the dimension for. Which other one do we have again? I think that's about the ones I can remember for now. Maybe, maybe. Yeah, I believe that you guys know what parallel perpendicular does. Parallel will make two lines parallel to each other. So for example, I draw a line here. Okay, great. Yeah, I draw a line here. I can select these two and select parallel, and automatically this line will become parallel to it. I think that's about it for all the major sketch tools. that's about it for the major sketch tools. So the next one is now the next one is the sketches. So the next one is the features because that's used for sketches. So Abbas, please, you have a question.
So I joined late, so I met you saying about symmetric or something. So please can you just take it back again? The symmetrical stuff that you said earlier.
I'm sorry, there's a recording though.
Okay, sir.
Can't go back. Thank
Thank you.
you. Great. So now let's go to features. Let me exit here. So now I want to talk about when to use your loft. Yes. So use your loft when you have two separate sketches and you want to create an object with the two sketches. For example, now let's say what's a good example of when to use loft? So I'm thinking of something that is going to merit me actually using a loft. Okay. Let's say I want to create sketch again.
Oh. I thought we used this light after that light.
Sorry.
So it's still not going up.
Okay, I'll first need to create an offset plane. So I want to create an offset plane for the plane that I just drew now. So I'm just going to click on this plane, go here and click on plane. What is happening now is why is this one? I don't know what this one is up to. What's happening right now is that like I can create a plane parallel to my front plane and offset from it from a particular distance. I'll show you why I need that now. Because I want to draw another sketch that is just above this one. And you need either a plane or a surface to draw a sketch. So I'm going to click on the plane, click on sketch, and then I have center. So when you use covert entities, for example, now is I'm going to hide this sketch here. The computer right now for this particular sketch that you have, the computer is not seeing anything in this sketch. It's just seeing a point. Even though you are seeing this particular line here, for this sketch too, the computer is not seeing this circle. What the computer knows is that for sketch, this circle here belongs to sketch 1. So you cannot be using it in sketch 2 just like that. The computer will be like, what's up? So if you want to bring this circle here to sketch 2 without touching anything, so without like necessarily drawing the circle again, just want to bring it just like that. That's when you use your convert entities. You click on the circle, you click on entities to convert, click on OK. And now the circle is in sketch 2. You can see now I can hide sketch 2, and now the computer is seeing your circle. Now the computer knows that okay, this circle now belongs to sketch 2. Otherwise, the computer cannot do anything with the circle if it has not yet been converted. So I'm going to delete this anyway. So just to make it useful that I'm using a loft, let me not put it in the center. Let me drag it here. Okay, great. Just so that the reason for using the loft is somewhat useful. So now I'm going to go to features. Okay, good. So now I'm going to go to features, click on lofted boss/base. And I'm going to select the 2 profiles that I want to loft. I've selected the first profile, selected the second profile. So yeah, I think that automatically it is joining the 2 profiles together for me. I can set some other things like I can select I can select direction vector, or let's say normal to profile. Then for this one, I can select direction vector or normal to profile. The whole point is that I can just do things in a way that like will give me a curve. So I'm coming. That will give me like a curve that will just be giving me different shapes. That will be giving me different shapes based on that will be giving me different shapes. Okay, Sinclair, please, I have a question.
Oh my God, lost like 15 seconds ago, I beg.
Well, I was talking about loft. With that, sure am I? Because there was something that was asking about symmetric too. I can't be partial. Okay, but I was talking about loft. I explained that loft is when you want to use two. Loft is when you have two separate sketches. I want to join them together. So in this particular case, now I had two sketches. Okay, please ask a question. Cynthia, please, you have a question.
No, that's a mistake, sorry.
Okay. So loft is when you have two sketches and want to just create something out of the two of them. And and let's say let me just do none, start constraints here, none. If I choose none, then everything is just going to be straight. It's just going to project it straight to each other. Directly close lofts. So Abbas, yes, please answer your question of symmetrical. The symmetrical is let me quickly go back to it. Answer that question about symmetrical. So I'm going to hide this and quickly go back to the question you asked me. I was explaining that, for example, now let's say I have this line here. I drew another line. I drew another line. Now, if I want this line to be symmetric with respect to this one, that means that like so this line and this line to be symmetric with respect to the center line. That means that if this line is 50 millimeters away from the center line, then this line is also 50 millimeters away from the center line. So I'll explain that normally you can use the symmetric relation. You select the two outer lines first, then select your middle line. Can you see? Can you see? Now it is showing. Are you guys seeing this symmetric relation now? It's not was slimy before, now it is showing. So normally all you have to do is you just click your symmetric relation like this. And now they are symmetric. Any distance you drag this one to, the outer line to also follow. So hopefully if your own symmetric relation bar shows, you don't need to go and start doing dimension and doing equals to. So Abbas, please, do you understand it now?
Yes, thank you, sir. I understand now.
Okay. Okay, so that is for loft. Loft is when you have two sketches you want to join together. Now revolve. Sorry. Let me. Okay, please give me a minute. I need to quickly attend to something. Just a minute, please. Okay, please, I'm back now. So that is for loft. Now I want to use revolve. I want to use the just going to delete all this. I'm going to use the revolve. Let's say, for example, now I want to create a bottle. Where is my right? Where is my front screen? Which one is now? Okay, this is my front screen. Let's say, for example, now I want to create a bottle. Um, let's say I want to create a bottle. So this, what I've just drawn now is like a side profile, a half side profile of what the bottle is going to look like. This right now is a, yes, Bina, please want to ask a question.
Um, Please, I'm confused how you did that cover at the top. I'm just joining. I was not online since.
Okay, sorry. I went to go and jump. I was actually the one jumping. So please, the first thing I did was I clicked on my line tool. Normally, I have a shortcut. Anytime I press L, if you look here under my line, you see in brackets L. The anytime I press L, my line tool automatically shows up. So I click on the line tool. I drew a line like this. I made sure it was 90 degrees. I drew another line. Now I hovered over this point here. The minute you hover over the point, your line tool is going to turn into an arc.
Okay.
So let me just go over it again. Let's say I have my line tool here. I draw a line. The minute I hover back on this line, it's going to come out as an arc. Once you just over on this point, you have your line tool, you over on this point, and it turns orange, it's going to come out as an arc instead of a, sorry, yeah, it's going to now come out as an arc instead of a line, instead of a straight line again. So, and the good thing about this, the arc that comes out from this is that the arc is tangent. The arc is usually tangent to the lines, but in this particular case, it's not tangent because it's not continuous with it. Good. So now this is a side profile of a bottle. Let's say I want to just now let me use my revolve boss / base. But I know I used this revolve in one of the physical classes I had. What you do is you select the axis of revolution, which is the center line that I want to revolve this bottle about. In this particular case, the center line is this one. And automatically, and even though it has already selected the contour for me, I always like to select the contour myself. So select the region. And okay, this is an ugly bottle, but it is a bottle. It's an ugly bottle, but it's a bottle. You can't deny that it's a bottle. So this is how to use the revolve tool. You have a side profile, or you have a side profile. You have an axis that I want to revolve your sketch about. Now, these 5 tools here, they are for creating new things, new features. The remaining tools that are here are not for creating new features, but they are for editing the features that I have created. Please, do you guys understand what I'm saying?
No.
I'm sorry.
No,
Is this
no,
sheet metal? Is this sheet metal?
No, this is not sheet metal. This is still the basics of SolidWorks. So let me go over it again.
Okay.
These features are your extruded boss, your revolved base, your swept boss, your lofted boss, your boundary boss. They are for creating new features like this one that I created. But these remaining tools here, extruded cut, hole wizard, revolve cut, these remaining features that to the right, they are not for creating new features. They are for editing a model or a feature that you have created. Please, do you guys understand me now? Please, if you don't understand, I can go back. Because the major goal in this lesson is for you guys to understand. Please, if you have any question, ask it. Great. So now let me go through how to use some of these particular features to edit. The first one I want to do is okay, JPEG, I have a question.
Who is a big?
JPEG, I have a question. Let's say. Yeah, the class is currently being recorded. So let me show you what a shell does. Shell, let's say I click on this face here. I have set the shell parameters to 10 milliliters. I'm going to show you something cool. Let me change the shell parameters to, like, let's say 2 milliliters, so the shell is more obvious. Or let's do sorry, let's do 3 mm. No, 3 mm. Great. Now you are seeing a hole is being made, but let me show you something. I'm going to, where is this? Great. If you've noticed, the shell tool did not just create a hole. It created an entire inner boundary around everything. So it even followed the curves when it was creating the hole here. It followed the curves here so that everywhere will have a thickness of 3 milliliter all around. You know, if you're using your extruded cut, for example, now, your extruded cut to just create a circle. So your extruded cut to just create a straight hole. Let me show you. Your extruded cut, for example, now, let's say I do sketch here, sketch. Let's say I do sketch and I go to features, extruded cut, drag it down. Now see the difference. Your extruded cut will only cut in a straight direction. So for example, now if this is what you want, you just want to like extrude, you just want to cut in a straight direction. That's what extruded cut does. By the way, this is the tool I'm using this section view here to basically cut my part in half to show you what is happening. But when you're using shell, when you use shell will actually follow the curves. It will actually follow the guide curves to make sure it gets that cut that I want for you. Then you have I'm coming each other one again down to show. Okay. Then we have fillet. Fillet is just what the fillet does is that it's all these ends now are sharp, and the truth is, like, in production you never want the ends of objects to be very, very sharp, because if you look at things from your laptop to any object that is being produced, notice that when you brush your hands across the surface, it still feels smooth. It's not going to cut you. It's only a blade that will cut you, but they're not going to cut you because they have been filleted from the design. They have been filleted so that they are smooth, even across the edges. So now I can select an edge here, let's say I apply a fillet of like 2 millimeters. Now you can see that they are no longer sharp again. They are smooth, and I can even sorry, I'm coming. I can even make the fillet like, let's say, very small, because the truth is for the I'm coming. I can make the fillet very small, because the truth is for some of the laptops or things they are using, the fillets are not that big. The fillets are hardly even showing, but you just make sure that yes, there's a fillet so that it doesn't hurt you. See, for example, now it still looks like a normal edge, but it is filleted. So something like this, now, if you were to 3D print and brush your hands across this edge here, it's not going to cut in. And let me delete this shell. Then there's one that is called lofted cut. Or let me go through revolved cut first. Let me go through revolved cut first. So I'm going to go to right plane, create a sketch. I'm just going to draw a corner rectangle here. So I'm going to draw a corner rectangle here. I'm going to go to features. Okay. Before I go to features, I'm going to need to create an axis here, because how do I explain it? To use revolve cuts, you need an axis. You need an axis that is at the center of what you want to revolve your entity around. You know, for my sketch now, I had the half profile, so the axis was showing. But now that I want to do this particular sketch here, the axis is no longer showing. Now, there are two ways. I can either just make this sketch show, click on this sketch, click on features, revolve cut, select this one as the axis, select this place here as what I want to revolve against. And let me say I want to cut like 180 degrees. See, for example, now that is what just happened. I use my revolve cut to cut a portion of the object. Please, do you guys understand what I just did now? Please, if you don't understand, ask me questions.
Um, I'm still in that. I'm still having issue. Not to drag you back, but I'm still having issue with how
No.
you change that line to curve. I'm trying to do it here, but it's not working.
Okay. No, please, you're not dragging me back, because the whole essence of this is that you actually understand what is going on. So I'm going to click on right plane. So this is what you're talking about here. So like I said, instead of drawing another straight line, I go back and over around this point. So instead of drawing a line, I will go back and over around this point, and it will become orange. That is when I can now draw the arc. But in case you're having issues drawing the arc, you can just choose to instead use your normal arc tools that here. That tool is just meant to help you draw faster. But in case you're having issues with it, you're not probably going to save like, I don't know, like 3 seconds or 4 seconds by the time you're modeling, or even like a second, one save. Because if you're that fast to click it, it's probably just going to save you a second. So it's not going to necessarily slow you down too much. But now this is revolve cut. Please, did everyone here understand the revolve cut too? So please ask a question.
Sorry, please, can you go over the like reverse code again, please?
Okay. So normally I'd already drawn this rectangle here on the right plane. I'd already drawn this rectangle here on the right plane. Now what the revolve cut tool does is that you are going to first need to set an axis. And your axis needs to be at the center of a cylinder or a sphere that you want to cut around. So in this particular case now, the axis that is selected, as you can see, is at the exact center of what I want to cut around. Then you now select what you want to cut, and it's going to like carry this entity here and be cutting it around that axis here, as if it's drawing an arc with it. As if you know when you use your compass, like you place 1 point at the center, you place 1 point here, you draw an arc around it. You go to the second end, you draw an arc around it again, and then cut everything that is within that place. Treasure, please, you understand now?
So you just select where to cut.
Yes, let me why it is 180 degrees now is because I selected it from here. If I want, I can make it 60 degrees. Sorry, 60. I can make it 60 degrees, just this end here. And then you select what you want to cut. In this case now, this is what I want to cut. I click on selected contours, select this one. And then the axis here, this is the axis. I click on axis of revolution and select this axis in the center here. So like this now, it's just going to cut only a portion of it. So it's only going to cut like 60 degrees away from this place. Please, Treasure, do you understand now?
Yes.
Okay. Then what last thing again? Yeah, I was trying to explain to you guys that like instead of there are sometimes that you not have this axis from a previous sketch like I do now. For example, now imagine if when I was creating this cylinder, when I was creating this bottle, I used the loft to create the bottle. So right now I do not have this axis that I can come back to use. Let me hide this back. Imagine that I do not have this axis, so I cannot just use it. I can go to features, and as I explained, everything. So okay, let me go back. Everything from this place is just basically editing. They are not creating anything new again. But these ones here are for cutting out of your object. That's how everything here has cut, hold, cut. These ones here are for patterning, are for modifying your object in a way. And then this one here is for creating reference geometries. Like for example, now so as I use this one now to create a plane that was like 50 millimeters away from my front plane. I can use this one now here to create like a bounding box sort of. That will just basically show the entire area that this that this bottle is using, I can use it to create an axis, which is what I want to do in this particular case. So for an axis, all I have to do is select the face that I want to create the axis for. Yeah, that is this cylinder. The axis is automatically going to be at the center. And I'm going to click OK. So in this particular case now, okay, you know what? I'm going to drag the axis to before I did the revolve cut. It's a cheat code. Because if I had left it, like if I could left the axis, let me show you something. Right now, if I click on edit, I've already created the axis, but the axis is not showing because in my timeline, I created the axis after I did the cut revolve. So I cannot reference the axis inside the cut revolve when it was done after the cut revolve. Please, I understand what I'm trying to say.
Don't understand.
Okay, so imagine if let's say Buhari, for example, now was telling you, okay, imagine if Buhari, for example, now was telling you and was telling you that NYC is going to win Adire by the year 2026, by the year 2027, you'd be like, how does Buhari know? So when Buhari was president, imagine he was saying that NYC will win Adire by the year 2027, you'd be like, how is he supposed to know that? Did he time travel into the future or what? Like that is information that is meant for the future. So at the present, for example, now I cannot know something, like I cannot know news that is meant to be released tomorrow. So I cannot act based on that news. I cannot use that news that has not yet been released to do anything right now. So in the same way, the cut revolve function cannot use the axis tool because the axis tool because the axis tool was not yet created by the time I was creating a cut revolve. That's what I'm trying to explain. Please, are you understanding what I'm saying now? It's like that stuff where they joke about like an FBI agent telling you 9/11 is going to happen before it's happened. You are not meant to know that. But in SolidWorks now, there's a cheat code for it to actually pass that information to before the court revolve was created. So that's what I'm showing you now. Now that's when I can just click on this tool and literally drag it up. No, I think is it right click? Okay. Okay, yeah, you just left click on it and just literally drag it. So now I'm going to drag it to before I created this cut revolve tool. So it's like normally I'm not meant to know information of tomorrow. But imagine if somebody from tomorrow now found a way to literally call me in the past and tell me this is going to happen. Now I have the information. So now I can choose to edit the cut revolve tool. And sorry, I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide this. Oh, sorry. I'm going to delete this here. And now you can see that the axis tool is showing. It was not showing before. So now under axis of revolution, I can select this and I still have my cut. Great. So the next thing that I want to go to is lofted cut. For lofted cut, let me click on top plane. I'm going to create a reference geometry. So I'm going to go to plane. Let me see if I can just drop it. Okay, delete this. Just select it. For instance, not coincidence. Yeah. Okay, okay, select top plane. Well, I'm just going to do this here. So I'm going to click on this plane, click on sketch, and I'm just going to create a circle here. So I explained that use lofted base when you have two sketches and you want to use those two sketches to create a cut. In the same way, you use lofted. So yes, use lofted base when you have two sketches, or you have a sketch and a surface. So for example, now I can create a lofted cut with this surface here and this sketch. It's not necessarily two sketches. But in the same way, when you want to create a lofted cut, you also need either two sketches or a sketch and a face. So you either need either two sketches or a sketch and a surface. Yes. So I'm going to just go here, click on lofted cut. I've selected sketch 8. Let me select this one. Let me select this under instead. Guide course, starting constant, let's do normal profile. Let's click on OK. Let me just do normal. Usually this stuff is usually hard to get the exact curve that you want. But if you're using it in an exam, usually they always tell you the exact options to pick from, because it's always hard to get the exact cut that I want. People that actually work professionally, they instead use surface tools. That's what this surfaces is for. They use surface tools to get the exact cut they want. That's how they're able to model things like cars, things like airplanes that have a lot of curvatures, have a lot of smooth edges, things like Lamborghinis now that make people want to buy them. Okay, great. So I'm coming. Oh, they set everything to one. Great. Now, if you look to the under, you notice that it's actually cut. Yes, great. You notice that it is actually cut. Yeah, it's actually cut inside, even though it was not showing that well on the outside. So this is what a lofted cut does. The lofted cut is using two sketches to create a cut in your two sketches to create a cut in your model. So delete, yes. Then we have whole wizard. And old wizard, the only difference between old wizard and your extruded cut is that your extruded cut is just going to create a straight hole, while your old wizard does something slightly better than that. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to just okay. I'm going to just create a sketch at the top of this place. Let's then create a circle. Okay. Your old wizard just lets you do more things that you cannot do with your extruded cuts, like creating holes for screws, creating counter balls. What the
Please, where is that old wizard? Please.
is under features, the same place where you have your extruded balls. So please, I have an issue with my old wizard. I will need to go and fix it. So for today's class, I cannot use old wizard.
Mine is I'm saying the old wizard, but like I cannot use it.
Is it showing you this error? Is it saying something like SL this B cannot find, or is it actually opening?
It's not even showing the up like the thing is on it to like as if there's some tools that um Solidworks like it will show flames like as if you cannot tap on it like this like if you look at how will I display this thing now?
You can
Oh,
clean shell screen.
Abi? Let me see. Abi? Abi, is it because my sketch is not defined? This small circle.
No, it does not need your circle to be defined for the old wizard to work.
Because it's not even showing an option to tap on it.
Hmm. I I'm going to need to. I don't know why this new SolidWorks has some particular issues, especially the student versions. They have some particular issues, but I cannot use my whole wizard, so I can't use my whole wizard. Hmm. But let's work on now. For example, let me this mirror, for example, now it does the same thing that the mirror in Sketch does. So let's say I have a front plane. I'm going to just create an offset plane from it. Create a plane. Yep. Okay. So now I'm going to use my mirror. I'm going to select my mirror plane, which is plane 4. It has already auto-selected it for me. But in case it does not auto-select it for you, you can just click here, plane 4. Now for features to mirror, now this is actually, please actually take note of this. Their features and their bodies both are different. Features are, I'm coming, let me go back slightly. Let me go back slightly to do something. Okay, okay, I'm going to use this now. I'm going to create an extruded cut with this. Let's say, let's do only 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters. See now, I've created a tiny hole with this one here. I've created a tiny hole with this one. I'm going to create another reference plane. I'm going to click on top plane, click on features, offset plane, Then second reference mid plane. Is it? No. It's parallel. Okay, now one of you.
I'm not seeing that offset plane in my own.
So it's not going to show as offset plane. I don't know. When you go to features, you first click on a plane, like let's say top plane. You go to features under this reference geometry here, you see plane. Just click on plane like that. That's the offset plane I'm talking about. The first reference is Savior, please have a question.
Sorry, what's the second and that third reference for?
What's the
The second and third reference for?
um sometimes you need to add extra relations to your plane. That's what I'm doing now is going to use two references. It's because it's not every plane that is going to be straight. Some planes are going to be curved, tangent. So that's the reason why you can add as many references as possible. It's like the way you use add relations, you have parallel, perpendicular, collinear. That's how this works. So now for my second reference, I'm going to select this top plane. And I'm going to select mid plane. So I'm coming. How do they create this mid plane again? Hmm. You know what? I'm going to click on top plane. I'm going to click on this surface here, and I'm going to go to features reference geometry, and the plane should automatically be in the middle. Yep. So how is this thing do it? Wait, I'm coming, JPEG. Okay, I see now. Yes, JPEG, please have a question. JPEG, please have a question. Savior, please what do you want to say?
Sir?
Please, Savior, please what do you want to say?
No. Sorry, I forgot to read my mic.
Okay. JPEG, I have a question. Okay. So let me go back to creating this mini plane again. What you do is first click on top plane, go to the reference geometry, click on plane, and you select mid plane here. Then you now click on second reference, click on this top plane, and you also select mid plane on it. And automatically your new plane is going to be in the middle of the top plane and this face here. So
Sorry,
now let me show you. So what do you
can
say?
you please go over? Can you please go over?
Okay. So right now, I want to create a plane that is in between, that is at the exact middle of this cylinder. So how I can do that is, the fastest way is just click on this surface here, hold down Control, click on this surface, go to Features, Reference Geometry, and click on Plane. Okay, if it doesn't do this, one thing is, if you have selected one face already, just click on mid plane here. Then select the second face that I want this plane to be in between. Second reference, select this bottom face here. So, please, you have a question. Please, you have a question, please. Yeah, please, you can ask your question.
So I have a question.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Okay, when I'm trying to do my revolve codes, and I've drawn the place I want to like cut it from. Also, like better, can you like show like how to do a revolve cut again? Because like I've drawn rectangle now to like cut it, but I'm able to select my axis of revolution. That axis I used to draw the something like I said it's like a bottle to say that as my axis of revolution. And instead maybe rebuild errors unable to create this feature because it will result in a zero thickness geometry.
Okay, I'm coming here first. Let me first finish creating this plane. Please, has everybody learned how to create the middle plane now? Please, has everybody learned how to create the
No.
middle plane? Eh? So I think somebody said no, please. Please, if somebody said no, is there?
Yeah, it was me. It was me. I didn't get it.
No. I'm still trying to do it.
Wait first. So to create a middle plane, for your first reference, you click your first plane. Because to create a middle plane, you first need to have your two planes, and then you want to create a plane in the middle. So what's going to happen is that first going for your first reference to select your first face or plane, and click on this mid plane option. Then for your second plane, you also select your second face or plane as your second reference and click on this mid plane option. That's how to create a mid plane. So I'm still coming to your question, please. So what I want to quickly finish is this how to use this mirror tool. Now, the reason why I created mid planes because I'm trying to explain that there are two things. Sorry, there are these features and bodies. These features to mirror and bodies to mirror are two different things. Features to mirror. Now, imagine as I have this cut here. If I want to create this cut too at the bottom, I'll use feature because the cut is a feature. That's why the cut is shown on that feature. So now let's say I select let me select this my mid plane that I created. I will select this mid plane. I'll go to features to mirror. I'll click on this. Once I click on it, it will be showing me cut extrude 2. And see. If you notice, it has automatically mirrored this cut for me on the other side. On the other side of the cylinder, are you seeing it? But if I want to use bodies to mirror does not just mirror one particular feature. Bodies to mirror is going to mirror the entire thing. Why is it not showing me bodies to mirror again? I think it's because I'm editing it. Control Y. So I'm going to go to mirror, bodies to mirror, and click on this. Click on I'll click on this middle plane here as my face, so as my plane. Why is it having this issue? Oh, it's because I set it to merge solids. I should remove this merge. Okay, move this. And see now, bodies to mirror is going to create this entire body for me. Because this one now is okay, let me go before the mirror. This one now is an entire solid body of everything that I've created. With all the features together, it is creating one entire solid body. But bodies to mirror is now going to create an exact replica of this body. So now going to be two solid bodies. But if you are using features to mirror is only going to mirror one particular feature. Now to let me really go back to the question that Praise asked me. Click on yes. Thank you back to question that I think Chris, you're asking how to use the revolve port. I think you said you cannot select this, right?
Yeah, I was it not said
Okay.
it was telling me redo the error.
So in case you cannot select axis, just come to features, reference geometry, and create this axis here. Once you touch on one, once you click on one face, it will automatically select this cylindrical conical face for you. And it is going to create this axis in the middle. If you have created this axis, for example, now, and go back to revolve port. Oh, yes, there's another thing again I was trying to explain. Um, if the axis is not going to show, if you created the axis after you first created the revolve cut. So for example now, if the revolve cut already existed before the axis, then let me just move my pen up. I'm going to click on revolve cut. You have a feature that I can have a feature I can set code. Okay, I know what to do. I'll click here, click on revolve cut. I only cut this like 60 degrees. For axis of revolution. See now, if you notice, for my axis of revolution, I cannot select this axis that I just created because officially I'm creating my revolve cut before I created the axis. So let's say now I just select like random axis. Bodies to keep all bodies, okay. This stuff is even performed. But now let's say like I can always move this axis up the tree to before the cut revolve was created. And now I can edit the cut revolve, and instead of that line, I will instead select this axis. So please, you understand now?
Yes.
Okay, great, that's nice. So I think these are all the major tools for now that you actually need to use. Okay, let me quickly go over how to use this draft and intersect. Because otherwise that, I think these are all the major tools that you need to use. Let me just, okay, delete. Sorry, just delete. Let's say I create a sketch on the top plane, center rectangle. Yep. And go to features, extruded boss, drag this up. Okay. Now I want to show you how to use draft. There are two ways to use draft. The first of which is, as I'm creating this boss extrude, if I click on, as I'm creating this boss extrude, here you see this symbol for draft. Use draft when you want to, when like you want to bend your face by a particular degree so that to form something like a prism instead of a normal cube. Let me bend this more so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, great. Going to show now. Great. So see now, if I wanted to create something like a prism instead of a normal cube with my boss extrude, I can use the draft feature. The draft feature is just basically going to be bending all these faces by a particular angle. Yeah, Winner, please ask the question.
Please, can you, the way you ended that draft, it confused me, please.
The way I
The way you entered the draft from the boss extrude, it confused me because I was doing the boss extrude before I just saw draft. I didn't.
I'm probably moving too fast. Okay. So when you open the boss extrude, you are going to see the draft option here. Then you click on it. Do you understand? Are you seeing it now, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then you click on it and select the degrees that you want to bend the your extrusion to. So this is the first way to create a draft. Yeah, please, does anybody still have questions about the draft? Yeah, please, does anybody have questions about the draft? Okay, great. It seems there are no questions. So this is the first way to create a draft, but let's say I want to actually show you how to use this particular draft here that is in features. So I'm going to undo this. I'm just going to click on draft on and off and turn off the draft. Click on OK. Now I have an object that is straight, no longer drafted. Now I'm just going to click on draft. I'm going to click on items to draft. I'm going to click on this one, direction of pull on I think direction of pull is going to be, I think, yeah, direction of pull. Where the direction of pull again? So the direction of pull is going to be this face here. And then let's see, great. So yeah, seeing is, so let me quickly go over this again so that you know. Okay, great. So for this particular one, yeah, your draft here, the first thing you need to select is your direction of pull, because your extrude now already, your extrude knows the direction it is extruding in. That's how it knows out for direction of pull. But this your draft feature is going to ask for the direction you want to put it to. So the reason why I selected this face here, this face one as my direction of pull, is because I'm pulling either away from this particular face here. Sorry. I'm pulling either away from the top here or towards the top for my direction of pull. See, for example, now, and if you select only one face to draft, you are going to have issues. Because remember that when I was drafting in the extrude, like 4 faces were bending. Because as one face is bending, another face cannot be straight. It's not possible. Like, it's not possible for this face here to bend and this face to still be a perfect square. It's going to create an invalid geometry. Because I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Please, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say here? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the reason why you have to select all 4 faces to draft at once. Your blue face is your direction of pull. The pink faces are the faces you are drafting. And let's say 19 degrees. So now it is drafting everything away from this face here meaning that at the end of the day, this face is larger than this face. But if you want to turn that around, just click on this reverse bar here. And now it is drafting everything towards this face. So now this bottom face is larger than the top face. Now I'm just going to go on how to use your intersect. Let's say I create a sketch here. Another center rectangle. Don't worry, the class is about to end. The tower class under center rectangle features extruded boss. Okay. Good. So I'm going to edit feature. I'm going to choose not to merge results. I'm going to show you right now. So since I did not merge the results, right now this body here and this bottom here, they are two separate features. See, this one is existing as a body on its own. This one too is also existing as a body on its own. Now, what your intersect does is that this intersect here, it can help you merge the two bodies together. So right now, I'll click on the two bodies. I can click on create both. Okay, just select. Sorry.
So where okay intersect?
Yes, intersect is under these features here. So this one is regions to exclude. Anything you tick here is going to be deleted. So don't tick on, just leave everything unticked. Then click on OK. Now everything is one solid body. You've noticed no longer two separate bodies like before. So that's actually all for today. That's actually all the I just wanted to use today to, sorry Isaac, please, I'm coming. Just wanted to use today to go across all these features here and all your sketch tools, just so that I know how to use each one and when to use it. So please, if you have any questions about like any of the features, I'll be taking them now. And Isaac, please ask a question.
So I did not see when you did that cube on top.
Okay, so what I did for the cube is that I clicked on this surface and I created a square and extruded the square. But here's the thing, let me show you something. When I was extruding this square, I unticked this box for merge results. When I unticked the box, it created a second body. Let me move up. When I unticked the box, now created a second body. So it was no longer one solid body but two. Then I used the intersect to turn everything into only one body. As you understand now.
Yes, but where do I see the intersect option?
Okay, you are going to see it in features, under features, in this place here. It's the same place with fillet, linear pattern, rib, drop, shell. And in case you have any issues finding features, I advise you to use Google Gemini. Gemini has been trained with a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials that Google has access to. So Gemini is very good when you're navigating softwares. As it is, is there any other question?
No, sir, I understand. Thank you.
Please, you can remove your hand. And Winner, please, that's a question.
My question is that you should use that intersect to again because mine is showing that rebuild error. Said all regions have been excluded. Please reselect regions to create solution volume.
Yeah, I said this place that is showing regions to exclude. Any region that I click here is going to be deleted. See now, this preview that is showing you this preview is showing you what your model is going to look like after. If you click on any region and say exclude it, it's going to delete the region. So right now, if you tick these two boxes, you have deleted everything. That's just not extending rebuild error. So just untick these two boxes and leave this merge result back ticked and click on the check mark. It should work now. Xavier, please ask a question.
So I want to ask, what first, I don't understand what's the swept boss base for? I don't really get that one.
What
What's
is
it that really for?
so,
Sweep is it swept boss or swept boss as base?
um the swept boss is for let me quickly go through it. Let me quickly go through it. The swept boss is for like let's say we create a pipe or something. I'm coming. Uh, let me actually go through it quickly. So if you want to use the swept boss, the first thing you do is to create a sketch. Then why is it not showing me? Okay, new sketch. Let me select my front plane. I'm going to just select a 3 point arc. I'm not going to be drawing arc. Okay, just draw arc here. Do another arc. No, okay, one arc is enough. Just bend this to get what I want. Okay, great. Then I'm going to come to this top plane here and click on fit. I'm going to go into this top plane. Click on okay, let me exit this sketch. Let me exit the sketch first. So I'm going to come to top plane and click on sketch again. No, top plane, click on okay. There's already exit.
Yeah, sorry, please. I'm making a new stuff.
Yes. I'm trying to show save you what why you need what how to use swept boss. So I'm going to click on top plane, click on create new sketch again. Then I'm going to draw just a small circle here. So now think of the best case scenario to use your swept boss like when you are dealing with a pipe. You know when you are dealing with a pipe now that is going to be bending and bending and bending, instead of I don't know how you want to create a pipe otherwise, instead of like doing maybe revolve, because the truth is a revolve can actually do this. Can a revolve do it? No, a revolve cannot do it. When something is bending this much like this, a revolve cannot do it. A revolve needs a straight axis to build. But now, when you can use a swept boss slash base is click on this swept boss slash base. Now that I have this circle at the bottom, I have this line here in the middle. I'm going to click on sketch profile. Then for this particular, this one here is asking me what I want to project around, which is this circle. And this one here is for the curve. And select this one. And that is what the swept boss slash base is for. And then the swept cut just does exactly the same thing. I'm coming. Let me edit this quickly. Oh wow, I'll let you use the swept cut to create a hole, but I already created the hole for me. So, if we go here, click on edit feature. But yes, please, that's what the swept both slash base is for. What he just did right now is that he carried that circle that I drawn and swept it along the line that I also sketched. So, Xavier, please, you understand what the sketch both slash base is for now? What the sweep feature is for? Okay, great. So, please,
I
the
have
name
another
boys,
question.
okay?
Sorry. Now, it's about sheet metals and normal parts. I don't really get the difference between the two of them because when I'm designing parts and I'm designing sheet metal, I don't really. It feels the same, but I don't really get the main difference between two of them.
Okay, so the difference between sheet metal and other parts is for simulation, because engineers don't just model, they simulate. For simulation, there are a lot of things that you may want to simulate that if you create a normal part, you not get accurate simulations. But when you're using sheet metal automatically loads some default simulations for you. Then also, sheet metal gives you some additional features like it is going to easily help you flatten, because sheet metal works like this, for example. Now, how did I share my camera? Okay, I'm coming. Let me share. I'm coming. I want to show you a sheet metal. Okay, good. Just- Okay, great. Can you see this, please? Yeah, Savior, can you see this, please? Okay, great. Right now, this is a sheet metal. It was created by having one sheet of metal. This is two sheet metal joined together, but each one's created by having one sheet of metal and bending it to get this rectangular, to get this, is this C shape? Yes, to get this C shape. So when you're using your sheet metal toolbar, your sheet metal toolbar is going to give you an option to flatten, because remember that you are bending it. So when you are first cutting, everything is going to be on a flat surface. So your sheet metal gives you the ability to flatten and see like the total surface area of what you need to cut. Then when you're using sheet metal too, it's going to load some default features for you. Because when if you are cutting everything from, like, let's say a 3 milliliter sheet metal, then you cannot be setting different thickness for everything, like setting one thickness to be 4 milliliter and that thickness to be 5 milliliter when you are cutting everything from what is just 3 milliliters. So your sheet metal also does that for you. It's going to help you use that thickness that I've set all through. Another thing is yeah, so it helps in simulation, it helps in using the your thickness all through, and it also has a lot of special features for your sheet metal that does not work on some other things. So that works only for sheet metal, like your convert to sheet metal. That's like you have a solid surface, you want to convert it to a sheet metal. That's look at the picture it's showing you now. In this place now, you have a solid object, but your sheet metal, you are going to bend and bend and bend. So now we're saying if you have this solid object and want to create a sheet metal out of it, the sheet metal plugin is basically going to help you do that. It's going to show you that okay, this is the sheet metal you are going to need to cut, and this is how you are going to bend it to get this, to get something similar to this solid object that you have. So Savior, please, I don't know if that answers your question. Or why
Not really,
that
but I get the general idea. I understand. I get the general idea.
okay. Thank you. So please, are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. If there are no questions, that brings us to the end of this class. Thank you guys for listening, and I really do hope that you learned how to use SolidWorks better and how to manipulate and get how to use features and tools to get out of tricky areas in SolidWorks. So I hope you have a nice day.